What do you think of when you hear the word luxury? Expensive cars, nice watches, big houses, designer clothing. That's what most people's minds would go to. But what if I told you true luxury doesn't have to be insanely expensive? In fact, 3 years ago, I took an 84% pay cut, and at the same time, I made myself a rule. And that is, even though I was earning less, I still wanted my life to feel beautiful, intentional, and enjoyable on a daily basis. So today I want to share with you 9 little luxuries that can elevate your everyday. They're small indulgences that don't have to cost very much and have made me feel like that I was still living a luxurious life on a fraction of what I used to earn. Let's start with number 1. And this one contradicts one of the other ones that I've spoken about in a previous video, and that is reading from a physical book, but only if that book is worth keeping. And now I read most new books from my Kindle. Most books, honestly, you do only need to read once. There's no reason to, in my opinion, own a physical copy. But the moment a book becomes one that I know I'll come back to, a book that I'm going to recommend to people or give to people to borrow, or a book that I'll reread in 5 years, a book that's genuinely changed something for me, then I buy the physical copy. And the result of that is my shelves have slowly become this like curated little library of only the books that have actually meant something for me. Not everything I've ever read, just the ones that have made a difference to my thinking and my everyday habits, which I think is way more luxurious than a shelf full of the stuff that you've never actually even read or that you've just dipped in and out of, and probably even cost you more money buying the physical copy than you just getting the same thing on Kindle. And it really is the difference between collecting and making your space feel like it's cluttered versus curating and making it feel very intentional. So that's what I have now. All the books that you probably see behind me and that I have on my coffee table in my living room are ones that I have read over and over and over again, and they make the entire space feel just more elevated. Number 2, this is more of a rule than an actual thing, and that is asking, can I get the same thing for less? And this is probably the most fun one on the list, because I still use the same approach today and I find it like a bit of a game. So before I buy anything where the price feels unreasonable, I ask myself, do I need this? Can I live with less of it? Or can I get the same thing for cheaper? And if the answer to that third one is yes, then that is what I'll do. And the best example of this is probably Barry's smoothies. It is one of the first things that I cut out when I took my pay cut. I was previously obsessed. I was probably spending over £100 or the equivalent in dollars a month on them easily. And I was upset when those were one of the first things that I had to cut out when I took that pay cut. And it actually just forced me to try and find ways where I could get the same thing for less. So I found the recipe online, which I'll link below for anyone who wants to try it as well. And then I just made it at home. It takes like 5 minutes. It costs maybe the equivalent of £2 each. And honestly, it tastes basically the same. I still make it at home today. And I did the same thing with stretching. I had an Apple Fitness subscription on top of my gym membership, almost entirely for the stretch and yoga sessions. And then I started searching on YouTube and found one video that I liked that was 10 minutes. I'll link that too. Everything I talk about in this video, I'll link below. And I've basically done the same stretch routine every day for the last 6 months, completely for free. I genuinely didn't realize before the pay cut how many things I was paying for just because they were convenient. And once I started looking for alternatives, it almost became a bit of a game. Like, what else can I figure out? And what else can I simplify? And what am I paying for that I don't actually need to be paying so much for? And weirdly, it started feeling like the smart thing to do instead of something that made me feel like I was depriving myself, which is a much better feeling to make a habit turn into something sustainable. Number 3 on this list is a physical journal and a nice pen. This is one of the smallest things on the list, but genuinely one of my favorites. I use this for writing about my feelings, my emotions, my thoughts, not for brainstorming or work-related stuff. For that, I use the A4 pucker pads. For this, I like the feel of all the pages. I've tried so many journals and notepads, and I keep coming back to this one. I find the feel, the look, and the general spiritual essence. It just feels very luxurious to me. And I like that it doesn't have any prompts. It is just a notepad because it gives me the freedom to write whatever I want. Previously, I used to use journals that had writing prompts on it. I find that keeps me off track nowadays. So this is about you can get one of these for like £6 or the equivalent. And this is my 4th one. It also has a pen holder as well. And then the part that I love is when I write something that I want to keep and I want to make sure that I don't lose or forget about, I take a photo of that page and then I upload it into the Day One app on my phone. So I get the analog feeling of writing and I get the digital backup. So I never lose anything. And it really slows me down when I combine it with something else that is coming up on the list. So highly recommend it. Number 4, scented candles and diffusers. I almost always have a candle going, always. Like, it's the first thing I do when I sit down or eat, or when I sit down to work in the evenings. Light a candle, especially actually at dinner, and especially when I'm eating by myself, because I think eating by yourself can feel a bit sad if you don't make any effort. So I try and make an effort. And they don't have to be expensive candles. When I first took the pay cut, I started buying these candles. I'll put a photo somewhere. And they're from Aldi, because at the time, the Joe Malone ones that I used to buy were like 10x the price, and I actually very rarely lit them. And that just wasn't happening anymore. So I found these dupes. And they do look very much like the Joe Malone ones. They look, I think, just as nice. And when they sit on the table, you can't really feel or see the difference. But can you actually smell them? No, not really. Maybe if you put your face right in. But they cost like somewhere between £2 and £5. And lighting them always makes the room feel a lot more luxurious. I also went through a phase where I got those wax melting things. I don't know what they're called, but the ones where you put a tea light underneath and then drop the oil at the top. Obsessed with them. Those are even cheaper. They last forever. You can always replace either the wax melt or the candle. So yeah, almost every single space in my office has a candle in it. You know what makes zero sense in 2026? Having one account for everyday real life, and then another bank account just for travel, and then another bank account for international money. That is why I've been using Wise. It's basically the smart current account for everything, from paying your bills and spending at home to traveling abroad and sending money internationally. Like this week alone, I used my Wise current account to pay for groceries in the UK. I sent money to a friend in euros. I got paid by a brand in dollars. And next week, I'll be using the same card to spend abroad. And because there are no hidden exchange rate markups or monthly subscription fees, I'm saving up to 75% on fees versus major banks when I transfer abroad, keeping more of my own money in my own pocket. And it doesn't matter where you are or what you're using it for, transfers are ridiculously fast, whether you're sending money in the UK or internationally. Most transfers arrive instantly. Half the time it's done before I've even locked my phone. And you can make your money work for you when you opt into Wise Assets. You can earn a variable return of 3.22% on your everyday balance, while most traditional banks pay close to nothing. That's one of the reasons why I switched from using a traditional bank account to start getting paid into Wise. If you want to try it, you can use my Wise link here. It's in the description, and you can get a fee-free transfer up to £500 if you join this month. Click that link to find out more. Number 5, a tidy wardrobe with matching hangers. This sounds slightly excessive, but stay with me. Every hanger in my wardrobe is the same. So they all match, and then the clothes are grouped by category. So it's going out, loungewear, summer, winter, gym, work, or like smart casual. And just organizing my entire wardrobe took me one Sunday afternoon, and the matching hangers you could get for around $20 to $30 on Amazon. And honestly, getting dressed since has been a completely different experience. There's something about opening a wardrobe that looks like you're at a retail shop instead of at a jumble sale that makes you feel like you have your life together. It's such a small thing, but I find that I actually wear different clothes more often now because I can actually see what's in there instead of half my clothes being hidden behind another set of my clothes. So highly recommend it. Tidy wardrobe, a tidy desk, and a tidy kitchen counter. 3 non-negotiables in my life. Number 6, and that is a nice water bottle. I have a water bottle at my desk at all times, and I often take this one out with me as well. And it sounds so silly, but having something nice and having something that goes with the vibes of the room and the rest of my desk has been amazing because it's actually motivated me to drink so much more water. And when I drink more water, I feel more focused. My skin looks and feels better. I feel better. Whether that's placebo or not, I'm not sure, but just drinking from a nice water bottle makes me feel good. So yeah, every dermatologist or skin doctor that I've spoken to always talks about water and sun cream being the 2 non-negotiables, and the third being something I'll come to in the skincare part of this video. But basically, thanks to this water bottle, I'm finally doing one of the 3 properly. Number 7, plants. Again, when I was in banking, I used to buy fresh flowers every single week. And then when I took the pay cut, this was one of the first things I stopped doing. It was very much a nice to have, but it didn't add enough to my happiness to justify the weekly spend after I took that pay cut. But instead, I did swap them for something more sustainable, and that is plants. And this has been something I have done ever since. They don't have to be expensive or fancy. I just like to buy ones that take up a bit of space. They feel a bit colorful. They make the room feel kind of lived in. They make it feel like something is actually alive in the space with you, not just furniture. So highly recommend adding some nice plants to give your living space an elevated feel if you haven't already. And number 8, every time I upgrade something, I downgrade something else. And this is more of a rule than an actual thing that I cut out or bought, but it was one of the most important rules to make me feel like I can still have these small luxuries in my life without going over my budget. And the rule is really simple. Every time I add something to my spending that is a nice to have, I subtract something else at the same time. So for example, when I was being really strict with my budget and tracking every single pound, this is the tracker that I was using. You can use the same one completely for free. It's linked below. But as you can see here, I was already allocating around 30% to my wants. And I really wanted to start adding daily coffees from my local shop back into my budget again. But if I were to do that, I would have gone over my monthly budget. I would have gone over that 30% that I wanted to allocate towards my fun category. So I had to subtract something else. And for me, I stopped getting the occasional food deliveries. And the reason I love this rule so much is that it does 2 things. First, the splurge actually feels paid for. It doesn't feel like I'm adding more costs on top of my everyday budget and therefore make me resent going over or feeling like I can't save enough. Because overall, I'm still saving 20% of my take-home pay. It's just I'm reshuffling the amount that's in my 30% wants category or fun category. And second, it makes me really think about whether the thing I'm upgrading is actually worth giving something else up for. And most of the time when I did the maths and used this tracker, the answer was no. And I don't actually need to buy the thing in the first place because I find that the thing that I was going to subtract was actually more worth it to me. So it's the single most boring sounding rule on this list, but it actually makes you more grateful for the things you do spend on. And that in itself is an added luxury. And number 9, good skincare. And this is going to surprise you because I used to spend an embarrassing amount of money on luxury skincare. Like it was so uncalled for looking back. And the thing that changed everything wasn't actually a fancier cream that I found through constantly buying different luxury products. It was actually one trip to a dermatologist. I speak about this in one of my other videos. The visit cost me around 200 quid up front. So that was a lot for a one-off visit, but it has since saved me literally thousands and it has actually improved my skincare. So the 4 things I now use every single day is a retinol almost every single night, this cream as well for my sunspots, this sun cream, and then this face wash. And that is it. The reason this works for me is because I was using oil-based creams before, which was actually causing my skin to break out, which is something I would never have known had I just not taken a trip to the dermatologist and understood what is the underlying factor for my skin not being clear. And I haven't bought a premium branded skincare product since, and it's been years. So the lesson I took from this is the luxury was the expertise, not actually the packaging. And that is it. Those are the 9 things. If you like this video, you also like this video right here on 9 things I stopped buying to make more money. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next week.